This week's episode is sponsored by Patreon supporter Devin Brimhall, who requested a look at a character who's been frequently asked for in the comments for a while now. These are the basics on that low-down, dirty rat, Rattrap. The original Rattrap toy was released in the first year of the Beast Wars toy line in 1996. He was one of the heroic Maximals, and like his name suggests, transformed via a simple one-step process into an oversized organic rat. The profile included with the toy described Rattrap as a talented spy who loved to eat garbage. This characterization was greatly expanded for the Beast Wars cartoon, in which Rattrap was a main cast member, one of a crew of Maximals stranded on prehistoric Earth. He was a sarcastic, smart-mouthed little tough guy, cynical and street-smart, a constant complainer, possessed of dubious morals and questionable hygiene, who enjoyed the unsavory things in life, and trusted in and looked out only for himself. He really hated the Maximals' enemies, the evil Predacons, so he had an especially vicious and mutually antagonistic relationship with his newest teammate, the ex-Predacon Dinobot. Though as the series continued, this evolved into a kind of grudging respect between the two. Not that Rattrap or Dinobot would ever admit it. Perhaps his most surprising relationship was with the Generation 1 Autobot RC, who was revealed to be his great aunt. While he might not have been the most likeable bot, Rattrap was still a good guy who stepped up when needed. His Spotlight adventures showcased his skills in espionage and infiltration, like the time he pretended to switch sides and join the Predacons to acquire intel on their operations, or when he had to sneak through the Maximal base after its malfunctioning security system turned against the heroes. He even had some leadership potential, once taking command of the Maximals when their leader, Optimus Primal, was believed lost. But whatever situation he found himself in, Rattrap always greeted it with his own special brand of pessimism, fully convinced at every turn that
we're all gonna die.
In 1998, a second toy of Rattrap was released as part of the new Transmetal range of figures, featuring a third transport mode that outfitted his rat form with wheels and an engine. In the cartoon, Rattrap was upgraded into this form by a quantum surge of alien energy, and he remained in this new Transmetal body for the rest of the series, continuing to serve as a major cast member through to the show's end. Rattrap's story continued into the 1999 sequel series, Beast Machines, in which the Maximals returned to Cybertron only to find that Megatron had conquered the planet. To combat his forces, the Maximals were reformatted by the Oracle supercomputer into powerful techno-organic forms, beast flesh and transformer metal fused at the cellular level. But Rattrap's cynicism and selfishness meant it took him longer than his comrades to achieve the inner peace needed to transform his new body. Worse still, when he was finally able to assume his new wheeled robot mode, he was dismayed to discover it had no weapons. Depressed and angry at the way his comrades were pitying him, he almost went against his very nature and sold the Maximals out to Megatron for a suit of weaponized armor, until Optimus helped him see that his true strength lay not in a body or in weapons, but within. Coming to terms with his new form, Rattrap embraced a new role as the Maximals' tech support, and entered a romance with the newest addition to the hero's ranks, Botanica. Rattrap was one of the most popular Beast Wars characters, and he's enjoyed multiple appearances in media over the years, including comic books, manga, video games, and more. Some of these stories have been set within the continuity of the cartoons, and have expanded and continued Rattrap and the Maximals' adventures, like the comics published by official convention BotCon, which in 2006 also released a new figure of Rattrap depicting him in his Cybertronian form from before the Maximals left their homeworld. Other stories, meanwhile, have been set in new continuities, featuring new incarnations of Rattrap that reinvent the character in different ways. For example, there was the Transformers animated version of Rattrap, who was named Rattrap due to the fact he turned into a vehicle rather than a beast. Making only one brief appearance in the show's third season in 2009, Rattrap's characterization drew mainly on the original Rattrap's ethically dubious qualities. He was a shady underworld type who was shaken down by Ratchet and his human ally Captain Fanzone for dealing black market goods to the Decepticon Shockwave. There were plans for Rattrap to have a larger role in the show's fourth season, serving as Megatron's lawyer during his trial, and later making his way to Earth, but sadly the series was cancelled before this season could be produced. In 2014, a new toy of Rattrap was released in the Transformers Generations toy line, based directly on his original cartoon character design. The release of this figure saw the character added to the world of IDW Publishing's comic books. Not unlike animated, IDW's Rattrap was characterized mainly as a bot of questionable morals. In his own words, he liked doing good, but not necessarily being good. In his first appearance, he framed the Autobot Scoop for industrial sabotage, as a way to earn the favor of Cybertron's new ruler, Starscream. Starscream saw right through Rattrap's lies, but he was impressed by the rat's duplicity and hired him as his right-hand man. Now, despite his untrustworthy nature, Rattrap did genuinely have Cybertron's best interests at heart, and in time he realized that the scheming Starscream didn't. For Cybertron's sake, Rattrap secretly began working to try and foil his boss's dangerous ambitions from the inside, and eventually took him down by sharing evidence of the crimes Starscream had committed with his rival, Windblade, which allowed her to defeat him at the polls and take his place as ruler. The Generations figure was also released in Japan as part of the Transformers Legends toy line, which led to Rattrap enjoying a starring role as the central character of the tie-in Legends manga. This goofy comedy series reimagined the cast of Beast Wars as office workers at a sales company, and cast Rattrap as a junior salesman who lived with his Aunt RC and collected Transformers toys. In 2021, in celebration of the 25th anniversary of Beast Wars, another new Rattrap toy was released in the Transformers Kingdom line. The release of this figure earned Rattrap an appearance in Netflix's Kingdom animated series, in which the Maximals joined forces with the Autobots to search prehistoric Earth for the long-lost life-giving Allspark, during which Rattrap worked with Mirage to rescue Air-Razor after she was captured by the Predacons. Concurrently, Rattrap also appeared in IDW's new Beast Wars comic book, a ground-up reimagining of the original cartoon. Showcase adventures for Rattrap in this series saw him prevent Predacon scientist Tarantulas from reprogramming the Maximals' supply of protoforms, and save Maximals and Predacons alike from the evil aliens the Vok when he found a way to turn the Maximal ship's transwarp engine into a weapon that could destroy them. He might be a stinky, sneaky, snarky little spawn of a glitch, but Rattrap's got a good heart buried somewhere deep inside. Really deep inside. But don't underestimate him. After all, he'd be the first one to tell you, you should never trust a rat. And those are the basics on Rattrap. Thanks to Devon for sponsoring this episode. Share your memories of Rattrap in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more history and lore from the world of the Transformers, and support the show on Patreon to get early access to new episodes.